Hey Marshies, it's me Sis, and I'm super excited to finally show you guys how to make this magic or color changing camo. There are two methods to making this camo. Both camos utilize materials. However, in one camo you do not have to change the opacity in any way, and you do not require a dynamic camo of any sort. For the other camo, you will have to change the opacity, and you do require a dynamic camo. For example, Storm, Dark Matter, or any other camo that has movement within it. Both of these methods are super easy to recreate, so they do not take much time at all, so you could end up making a bunch of different variants of that effect, which is really awesome. For this video, I'll be showing you guys how to do the basics of both tricks, so I won't be showing you anything complicated tomorrow. However, I'll be showing you how to do the Illuminati variant of it, and on Monday, I'll be showing you the bunny rabbit in the hat, and also on Monday, I'll be showing you how to do my 3D camo, which I'm also very excited about. I'm so excited to show you guys how to make that, and I'm excited to see what you guys do with it. Okay, so for the first method, again, that's the one where the image appears, disappears, or even changes color on you, depending on where you stand on the map. All you have to do is select a decal. You could do this camo in 3 layers if you want. So select a decal, fill out the entire base of the weapon, and you select a material. Every general material should work besides the carbon fiber. You could go ahead and try it, but I don't think it'll work. My two favorites are this light metal material and this blue material. However, the blue one is a little bit more limited. If your favorite color is blue, then you'll probably like this one because the image either turns a light blue or it disappears on the entire camo. So the image that you create on this blue texture, again, it'll turn light blue or it'll disappear. It won't change to any other color, at least that I know of. Sometimes this camo tends to surprise me and it might change red on you. I don't know. If you find something crazy like that, let me know. Send a link on Twitter. I'd like to check it out. It's pretty sweet. But so far, this one hasn't done anything too crazy on me. It just kind of stayed a light blue or it disappeared. This one is by far my favorite, this light metal material, because it turns white, it turns dark gray, and depending on where you're standing, like if there's a green wall, like that green wall in Nuketown that I've shown you before in a preview, if you stand near that, it could turn a light green, and that is super awesome. I think it's awesome to see a variation of color instead of one select color. So I'll be selecting this one to show you guys what to do. Okay, so now you have your base layer. It's the light metal material. All you have to do is just create an image using any decal. I'll just use this line for an example. And you have to set the decals to this shade of gray. So it's the 4th shade of gray down. And that's basically it. What I like to do to ensure that the image disappears is copy layer 1 and paste it on top and turn the opacity to 3%. Adding that top layer doesn't do anything special, it doesn't glitch it doesn't do anything ridiculous. All it does is it makes the gray a little bit lighter, and that allows the image to disappear fully on the weapon instead of having it barely visible. So I like to ensure that it disappears fully, so I add that top layer. Okay, so if you use other colors on this camo, those colors will not disappear, so you could kind of play around with that. For example, on my Illuminati one, I created a black triangle, and within that triangle, I added gray decals that would disappear. So it looks like the triangle is kind of empty, and then it fills in with the Illuminati eye. So the possibilities to this camo are completely endless, and I'd love to see what you guys come up with. So that's the trick to the first method. I'll show you guys really quick how to do the blue one. So I'm just going to change the material to the blue material. And all you have to do is set the decal to a blue that matches the material in the background. So if you guys want to create a complex image, it's best to work in a different color and then change it afterwards, because it'll be pretty hard to create an image when you can't see it yourself. So that's the 2nd shade of blue down, and you're set. This one does not need a top layer, so you're fine with just those 2. Now for the second method, this one's a little bit more tricky because you do require dynamic camos. If you do not have any dynamic camos, then you can't really do this one. For this one, you could cover the entire weapon in your favorite color. So for example, I'll just cover the weapon here in green. And now I'm going to change the opacity to 20%. Okay, so now what this does is, since we covered the entire weapon in this green, when you're in the shade, the green will disappear and all you'll see is the dynamic camo. When you're in the lighting, it'll cover the entire side of your weapon, and you'll be able to see hints of the dynamic camo beneath it. Now, a kind of fun thing to do with this camo is, instead of covering the entire weapon, you could delete that first layer, and I'm going to select a decal of my choice. I think this Reaper is pretty darn awesome looking, so I'll select the Reaper, and let's say I want the Reaper to be green again. And I'll change the opacity of the Reaper to 20%. And now, when you have a dynamic camo equipped and you go in game, the only thing that will be appearing and disappearing is this green Reaper. The tricky thing about this camo is that you can't really layer on top of it. If I were to put a red Reaper next to it, they kind of overlap, and that overlap causes a constant obstruction to be seen on the weapon. So I'm not too big of a fan of that option, but it's still pretty neat if you have a really cool decal that you want to show off, or if you do not want to spend too much time on a camo. Again, you do require a dynamic camo for this weapon. So when you go to create a class, all you have to do is select personalize, make sure you equip a dynamic camo. For example, I have Storm because Storm is awesome and it's the only dynamic camo besides War-Torn. But I don't think War-Torn would work very well because it only has a few areas that move. This one, the entire camo is moving beneath the weapon, so that one will work better. And then you select the paint job that you created, and it doesn't look like much once you equip it. You could just barely see hints of green, but that's what you want because in-game it'll appear much brighter when you play. Alright, so that's it for the tutorial for today. Again, tomorrow I'll be making the Illuminati variant of the first method. If you guys create some cool camos utilizing either of these methods, I'd love to see them, so go ahead and tweet at me at MagicSista24. It'd be cool to see what your creative minds think of when it comes to something that could appear and disappear on your weapon. So now that you have the magical power, go on and make something awesome. If you guys have any ideas for the camo and you just feel like you're not skilled enough to create it on your own, go ahead and suggest them in the comments below. I might give a few a try, and I'd like to do some tutorials for you guys like that. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're new and you like this type of video, please subscribe, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye!